So it looks like BoxingScene.com has reported that Luis King Kong Ortiz manager Jimenez confirmed to them that his fighter Luis King Kong Ortiz won't be fighting Dillian Whyte next. But then he goes on to say that Luis Ortiz might not fight Dillian Whyte next, as the boxing fans want, but he will be returning to the UK. And I'm going to quote Jimenez now. Eddie and I are working on maybe doing a big money 3-fight deal for Luis Ortiz, so it looks likely to happen soon. Eddie could make Luis a big star in the UK. At the end, I think Al Heyman and Luis De Cubas Jr. will give the best choice for Luis King Kong Ortiz, so I'll wait on them. So far, they have been doing a great and have delivered the best fights. So that is what Luis Ortiz manager Jimenez said. He said that his fighter Luis Ortiz will probably not be facing Dillian Whyte, but he says that Luis Ortiz will still most likely fight on the undercard of Tyson Fury versus, of course, Deontay Wilder, which is pretty cool because that means it's going to be like a heavyweight boxing card, which is great for me because I love heavyweights. But then he says something interesting. He says Eddie, and I'm presuming he's talking about Eddie Hearn. He says that he is going to sign a 3-fight deal or something with, a 3-fight deal with Eddie Hearn in the UK. And he says that Eddie Hearn could make Luis Ortiz a big star in the UK. But the thing is, so I have a feeling that maybe in the future we might hear that Luis Ortiz signs a deal with Daza, or also signs a deal with Matchroom Boxing. I have a feeling that's going to happen because what Jimenez is saying, that he's going to have a 3-fight deal with Eddie Hearn. But he talks about Eddie Hearn could make Luis Ortiz a big star in the UK. But the thing is, 2 years ago, Luis Ortiz was signed with Eddie Hearn. He was signed on the Matchroom. You remember he was signed with Eddie Hearn for like a 2-3 fight deal, and he didn't become a big star. Eddie Hearn didn't make Luis Ortiz a big star, and I think one of the reasons was because of the matchmaking. In the first fight, I believe that Eddie Hearn had Luis Ortiz in was when he fought. He had him in there with Malik Scott. That was probably the worst matchmaking that Eddie Hearn did. He put Luis Ortiz in there in his first fight against Malik Scott, and Malik Scott just ran around the ring the entire fight. It was the most boring fight in the world. People thought that Luis King Kong Ortiz was going to destroy Malik Scott, and I remember Eddie Hearn had a lot of high hopes for that. He wanted Luis Ortiz to just absolutely destroy Malik Scott because he saw that Deontay Wilder destroyed Malik Scott. Well, knocked him down with a phantom punch, and then Malik Scott stayed down and quit. But he saw that, so he figured Luis Ortiz is a big puncher. He's going to do the exact same thing to Malik Scott. Malik Scott ended up running around the ring, and it was one of the most dullest fights. And Luis Ortiz showed that he had problems cutting off the ring. So I think that was one of the reasons why maybe Luis Ortiz didn't become a big name in the UK when Eddie Hearn was promoting him, was because the first fight he had him against while he was his promoter was against a horrible matchup, a horrible style matchup that just made people bored. I think it bored people, and then he had him in there against Dave Allen, so I think that was one of the reasons, probably one of the reasons. And do I think that at this stage in Luis Ortiz's career, Eddie Hearn can make him a big star? I mean, if he puts him in there with Dillian Whyte, and if he beats Dillian Whyte, that would be a great thing for Luis Ortiz. I think that would be a way to make him a star. Even though he's up there in age, I think if he put him in a fight with Dillian Whyte, what the fans are asking for, I think that. And let's say the fight ends up being even if he loses, right? Because I don't know who wins that fight. He might win, he might lose. But let's say the fight ends up being a barn burner, really great fight. People will then be the UK, because the fight would happen in the UK. The UK boxing fans will be asking for a rematch. You know, they'll be like, oh shit, that's a great fight. And especially if he knocks out, let's say he knocks out Dillian Whyte, right? It'll be great for Luis Ortiz. I think that would be the best way to make him a star in the UK. Have him face Dillian Whyte. I already showed you guys the proof. UK boxing fans want to see Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz. They want to see that fight. You know, I'm talking about hardcore. I'm not talking about casual UK boxing. I'm talking about hardcore boxing fans. Hardcore boxing fans around the world and hardcore UK boxing fans, they want to see Mr. King Kong versus Dillian Whyte, because they understand styles, right? You know, hardcore boxing fans understand what good quality fights are. And when they see Dillian Whyte, when they see Luis Ortiz, they know that matchup is a very fascinating, dangerous fight for both of them. They know that. They know it's a credible win. Whoever wins that fight will get credit from me, at least. All right, so this is why they want to see this fight. This fight excites me. Like, I get excited, but Jimenez is saying that it's most likely that he's not going to fight him. So it's basically bad news what I'm reporting here, because I wanted to see them fight next. But I guess we're going to get Derek Chisora versus Dillian Whyte, which is... it's just going to be a recycled fight. I'm probably going to stream that fight, because honestly, I'm not going to watch that fight again. I already saw that fight. And like I told you my feelings towards Derek Chisora. I feel he's a recycled heavyweight who gets these chances, these opportunities, and he always comes up short. So it's just a waste of time fight. We already know Dillian Whyte will win. We know this. I'm not saying he's going to knock out Derek Chisora, but pretty sure he's going to win via decision. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. If you watched the video from start to finish, as always, much appreciated. And subscribe for the latest in boxing, guys. I'm out.